David Chun had cleaned the Imperial Museum on Zarthax Prime for 6 months. Always invisible, always beneath notice. The Zarkathi Empire ruled 80 systems, their civilization spanning 12,000 years. Humans were newcomers, barely worth acknowledging, useful for menial labor, nothing more. Emperor Vyx Thor barely glanced at David when he gestured toward the obsidian obelisk in the Hall of Forgotten Wars. Just dust that relic. It hasn't been touched in centuries. The obelisk stood 3 meters tall, covered in symbols that hurt to look at directly. Museum records called it the Seed of Dominion, recovered from a dead world in the Terminus Void. Scholars had studied it for generations, finding nothing, no power source, no purpose, no response to any scan or test. Just a curiosity from an extinct civilization. David approached with his cleaning cloth, thinking about his daughter's upcoming birthday, about the extra shifts he'd need to afford the gift she wanted. He reached out and touched the obelisk surface. The universe held its breath. Light erupted from the symbols, brilliant and terrible, flowing up David's arm like liquid lightning. He tried to pull away but couldn't move, couldn't scream as information poured into his mind. Star charts, weapon schematics, tactical databases, the complete military archive of the architects, the first civilization, the ones who had seeded the galaxy with jump gates and terraform technology before vanishing 3 million years ago. The obelisk spoke, its voice resonating in every language simultaneously. Air confirmed. Genetic marker Alpha 7 detected. Species, human. Authorization, absolute. Defense protocols activated. Emperor Vyx Thor stumbled backward as the museum's walls suddenly displayed holographic projections. Star maps showing every Zarkathi military installation, every weakness in their defensive grid, every classified project. What is this? Make it stop. David finally pulled his hand away, gasping. The knowledge remained, burning in his thoughts like a second consciousness. He understood now. The architects hadn't vanished. They had evolved, transcended, scattered their genetic code across the younger species as insurance. Humans carried the highest concentration of architect DNA, dormant markers that would only activate in the presence of their technology. The Zarkathi had built their empire on architect ruins, using technology they barely understood. And they had just ordered a human, an architect heir, to touch the master control node. David looked at his hands, seeing them outlined in faint blue light. Throughout the museum, other relics were awakening, responding to his presence. I didn't know. Nobody knew. Vyx Thor's guards raised their weapons, but the obelisk pulsed, and their guns simply stopped working. You will come with us, the Emperor demanded, his voice shaking. You will tell us what you have learned. David felt the knowledge settling into his mind, organizing itself. He knew how to activate the dormant defense grid that surrounded Zarkathi Prime. He knew how to shut down their planetary shields with a thought. He knew the locations of 17 other architect facilities within human-controlled space, all waiting for someone with the right DNA to wake them up. No, David said quietly, surprised by the certainty in his voice. I'm going to contact Earth, and then we're going to have a conversation about labor rights, citizenship status, and reparations for 6 centuries of treating humans like we're beneath notice. The Emperor stared at him in disbelief. You dare threaten the Zarkathi Empire? I'm not threatening anyone. David carefully folded his cleaning cloth, muscle memory from months of janitorial work. I'm just a janitor who wants fair wages and respect for his people. But now I'm a janitor who can shut down your entire defensive network by thinking about it. So maybe we start with better working conditions and see where the conversation goes from there. Behind him, the obelisk pulsed with patient light, waiting for commands from its heir. The janitor had been ordered to dust a relic. Instead, he had awakened humanity's inheritance, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. David still needed to afford that birthday gift for his daughter, but he suspected his next paycheck was going to be significantly larger. After all, the architect's technology recognized only one species as worthy inheritors, and the Zarkathi Empire had just given their human janitor the keys to the kingdom.